because Si did cover Avatar: Way of Water,
I did.
and because for some reason I can't quite fathom, they released the first Avatar after they released Way of Water on 4K.
They did.
Si's review that now,
I did.
and
For the second time.
yeah, at least the second
At
time.
least the second time.
Yes, not in 3D though.
It wasn't in 3D. No, this set does not include a 3D disc. Neither does it include any of the extended editions. Neither does it include Dolby Vision.
Oh, this is
So,
not. No,
so the set,
sell me on
so
that
the set
side.
isn't great.
I mean, I really wanted to pick up Avatar. I mean, I've had previous versions of it. I've had the 3D version. I've had the extended cut. I really want to watch it in 4K, and I really want to do it justice. I mean, tell me I'm doing it justice. Tell me this isn't just a placeholder until they do some big lavish set with art cards.
My feeling is that this is a placeholder, but it will be for the next 5 or 10 years, because they're going to release film 3, film 4, film 5, and then the whole lot will come out in a set as big as your house, and that's when you're going to get all the extended stuff, and it's going to be 500 quid. Yeah, the film itself, I mean, it's exactly it's as it was, 20, when was it, 2009, whenever it came out.
2009.
Yeah, still exactly it hasn't changed in my estimation, in that the story is still a rehash of you name it, Pocahontas or Dances with Wolves, or
yeah.
all that stuff. Which one?
Ferngully.
Ferngully, yeah. They're all much the same. The story is very, very basic in that regard. But where it wins out, of course, is with the spectacle that you've got. I mean, you can understand why it did so well at the cinema, because it's cinematography, it's 3D place in cinematic history is unparalleled. It was and still is a spectacular film to view. The 4K version of it is as good. See, when you're talking percentages less than the second film, which was released first. Yeah. Does that make sense? On disc, at least. It's everything in the CG world. So everything on Pandora looks fantastic, and it really does. It looks as good. The rendering isn't quite as good, but then because it never, it's that much older, but it's spatially, you can still see the 3D elements that it was filmed in, and it looks great. The colors are brilliant. The black's fantastic. The neons, all that blue, all that purple, all those, it looks superb. Ships flying at day, the beasties that are flying around, all the color, all that stuff looks brilliant, and I can't fault it on that in any way, even though it doesn't have Dolby Vision. When you go to the human side, when you're in the cabins where the avatars are, or in the control rooms, or in the marine holding, or when they're doing their talking, all that human stuff, that looks slightly digitized. It looks like I don't want to say, I mean, it almost looks like how old video cameras years ago, when they first came out, they had that kind of bit too contrasty, bit too edgy.
Yeah.
It hasn't been tweaked in any way, but that's just what they look like. Yeah, it's got that kind of feel to it. So it looks out of place compared to the rest of the film. Yeah. So that was quite noticeable, and I found myself when not wanting to go back to that aspect because it didn't look as good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a whole, the film looks great, but those elements, you kind of look at it and go, why didn't they just turn the contrast down a little notch, and that would have smoothed it all out,
Yeah.
Strange. Sound, of course, another spectacular soundtrack, absolutely out of this world. Up, down, left, right, thumping you in the chest with a bass. Can't fault that. Brilliant.
Nice.
So in the set, you've got the 4K disc, which is the theatrical version I think there's an extra line at the back to tie it in with the second
Yeah,
film. It's
yeah.
not over or something like that. But essentially, it's the same film that was released in 2009, which is fine. I haven't got a problem with that. I've probably seen the extended versions, and I don't think they had very much to it. Unlike
it's
something
mean,
like the Terminator 2 or Aliens, where
yes.
their extended editions, they really improved the films, whereas the extended editions of Avatar didn't really. It was nice to have, but it didn't really make much difference. So that in itself doesn't concern me. You've got a Blu-ray, which is the same as the 4K disc, nothing on it but the film and the soundtrack. And then you got an extra disc with all the extras, but it's all legacy stuff. It's all been seen before. Great as they are, there's nothing new on it. So taken as a whole, the set itself is okay. It's not one of the ones I would have rushed out and got because you can,
Yeah.
Screams a sale purchase to me, that one.
I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like a long time to wait for a release of a movie that's been, in inverted commas, celebrated this much and is getting so many sequels. It seems an odd decision.
You would have thought you would have hit the ground running with that. This was the first. This was the best. Come and get this one, and then everything after it is going to fall into place.
Yeah, but maybe you say Mr. Cameron was so busy on his super duper 4K versions of The Abyss and True Lies that he simply didn't have time. Went, "Oi, Mr. Chat GPT, stick your upscaling thingy on that old bag of spanners from a few years ago. I'm busy over here." You never know.
You never know.
I mean, I feel like what you meant to say, rather than Abyss and True Lies, is Avatar 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. No. Because that's what he's doing, isn't he? He's got no interest in giving us the Abyss.
Giving us what we want.
Yeah. And remember, they're supposed to be coming this year. We've only got 5 months left of the bloody year. Come on.
No, they're not coming this year. No. Sorry.